Hey guys, Anime West Reacts here, continuing the Talentless Nana reaction. So this is going to be chapter 34, last time we covered 29 to 33 because that was the start of the next arc, is where I stopped there. So yeah, this chapter we start off with a cover page of a chessboard. There's like flowers and wine around it, and then you see the chess pieces with one of the pawns knocked over. Yeah, Chapter 34, Gravity Control Part 1. So we've got Sir Oka and Mysterious Person playing chess. And so the mysterious guy, who's like all shaded in black, is saying pretty much what Sir Oka told the talented on the island, saying that he's like posing question, you want to transfer the talented off the island? And then Sir Oka says, I'm imagining a landfill connected to the mainland by a single bridge. And then this mysterious person says, you're full of surprises. First you said you'd deal with the enemies of humanity using young girls, and now you want those monsters trapped on a remote island now you want those monsters trapped on a remote island to move in right next door to ordinary citizens. How are you going to take responsibility if the nearby residents get harmed? And then Sir Oka says, Secretary General. Okay, so this guy's got a lot of power. And then Sir Oka says, wouldn't victims be a good thing? So the Secretary General says, what? And Sir Oka says, if the talented are transferred to the mainland, ordinary residents will surely get caught in the slaughter. But the current administration would be responsible for that. As the opposition party, you could denounce them in the Diet. And the Secretary General says, sounds like there's more. And Sir continues, until now we bombed the island. Pretty much explaining what they've done. He says, we bombed the island and dispatched mop-up crews. We've been too obvious. It's the reason that this time we chose the humorous idea of quietly sending a girl their age to infiltrate the talented and cause internal conflict and self-destruction. So yeah, basically, the other times they were way too flashy about it, so this time they chose a quieter method of getting rid of them. And then the Secretary General says, it was too amusing for me not to support the idea, but in the end won't we use military force. And then you see the pawn chess piece that's knocked over as Sir Oka says, are you familiar with the talented named Tachibana Jin? And the Secretary General says, he doesn't sound like one of my constituents. That's what it says. And then Sir Oka says, he's a survivor from 5 years ago. Most likely he's the tip of the iceberg. Though we've been hunting down the remnants, we should assume there are others who have slipped through our grasp. And the Secretary General says, you've been concerned about that for some time now. And then Sir Oka says, according to my investigation, there are far more citizens who doubt the existence of enemies of humanity than you politicians realize. And then the old man says, Secretary General, he looks like an old man, that's why I said the old man. He's like shadowed out, but you can kind of tell he's a lot older. So yeah, he says we won't be able to fool the citizens for much longer. If the truth gets out, mine won't be the only head on the chopping block. And then you see like the white chess pieces now. And Sir Oka says, then why don't you expose the truth before that happens? So yeah, let them out into the mainland and show the public how dangerous they really are, basically, is what it sounds like. So yeah, Secretary General says, I see. Sir Oka then says, there are no enemies of humanity. The real enemies are the talented. Reveal the truth to the people so you can openly crack down on them. And the old guy says, after the talented are transferred to the mainland, cause some kind of tragedy, right? And then you see like one of the pieces falls and rolls away. Queen or a bishop, one or the other, can tell which. And then it like lands right in front of the Secretary General, and Soroka says, then you'll become the new Prime Minister. And he picks up the wine glass, holds it to Soroka, and says, I'm leaving all of this up to you. So now we're back to the island, we see Soroka, and then we go back to Nana. Kyoya says it's peaceful. Nana's just kind of looking out. Can't really tell what mood she's in. She says, even though previously murders had been occurring practically every day, they stopped completely after Inukai died. Kyoya says they mysteriously stopped after Inukai died. Maybe the murders in mourning. And then that new girl, Moe, says Shinpai, Kyoya-san, Nana Shinpai, and she's like waving at them and tells them it's time for outdoor training, let's go. And then Seiya's like, Moe-chan, isn't your jacket inside out? And so she's like, oh, I made a mistake. So that's her character she's playing. And then Kyoya says, that transfer student, why does she call you her senpai? Nana's like, who knows? And so then, it's like, Nana says, maybe it's because I'm the leader, and then she's like, is there something bothering you? And then Kyoya says, no. Or, Kyoya asks if something bothering her, I guess. Yeah, Kyoya said no, I'm just jealous that everyone seems to like her. And then they're like, everyone's like, join us once you get changed, of course. And so she's talking to Nana. She keeps saying Nana Shinpai over and over, trying to like get her attention. It's like several days. She says it's been several days since since I arrived, and you see everyone like on the field, and so she like yells pretty much, because Nana's like ignoring her, so she yells, why haven't you killed anyone yet? Yeah, Nana's like, keep your voice down. And so Nana says that she's thinking. He says, in other words, you're leaving everything up to me. And so Nana's like, I didn't say anything like that. And you see Moe start messing with her phone. It says, Grandma, I'm feeling good today. If you were here, we could go for a walk. And Moe says it's for my grandma, and Nana's like, that's... And Moe says, it's the device the committee provided you with, isn't it? And so, Moe's like, I love my grandma. I asked them to let me contact her once a day. And Nana says, I have a question, and so she brings out her device that has her kill count thing on it. And asks her, was there an entry for Inukai Mitru on your estimated kill list? Could there be some kind of mistake? Moe's just looking at her like, what's that? She says. And Nana's like, what? And then, Moe says, I don't have that function. So she like starts flipping through her phone, because it says C, and then you see like Mogo and the magnetism guy, because he's got his like hands most likely magnetized to the bar, so he's just like swinging himself around. And then Nana's thinking the information she received from the committee is different from mine. And then Moe gets all serious. And it's like, is it possible you don't want to do the mission anymore? And then Nana like immediately gets like shocked, and then suddenly the magnetism guy goes flying, because I guess his power wore off or something. So he seems to go flying up into the sky. Mogo's like, hey, you idiot. Nana and Moe are shocked. Mogo takes off running, and then you see someone make like hand movements. It's this baldish kid. I'm not sure if he appeared in the anime or not. But you see he makes like these finger movements, and then the guy like stops from crashing face first into the ground. And everyone's like, what? And so he like swipes his hand like that, and then the guy just falls down on his like front rather than on his head. And so he asks if he's okay, and so I guess this guy's name is Hikaru, because that's what Mogo says. And so he can control gravity apparently. And so he says, yeah. And I'm like, wow, trade with my magnetism power. And yeah, Mogo like hits him in the head, says, don't forget to thank him. Show us your cool magnetism, move my butt. And then Carter says, I'm glad it worked. Using the right amount of power is tough. And so yeah, then you got everyone looking at him, or Mogo's just like, good grief. And he says, Hikaru, are you still hiding out in the mountains? He says, sure am. So he doesn't stay in the dorms with everyone. And Mogo says, what are you, a trainee monk? Don't blame me if an enemy of humanity gets you. Hiding in the mountains, monk in training. And so yeah, got like an image of him as like a monk. And Hikaru says, my power is not very precise. I'm worried I'd disrupt everyone else's lives if I lived at the dorm. Yeah. So yeah, he says, let me know if anything. Mogo says, let me know if anything comes up. I've got the same hairstyle, you know. And yeah, Moe makes like the serious face, like target found kind of face is what it looks like. So she says, apparently he can control gravity, and she's like poking Nana, saying what she would do. Moe says, I'd like to see you do something cool sooner rather than later, Nana. Or doesn't say her name, but she's like poking her cheek. And so Nana doesn't look very pleased about it. And then Jin appears, and it goes to night. Jin is here, and it says, it seems to me that those estimated kill values are meant to be your cross. And so yeah, Nana says, for when I begin to feel guilt for the murders I committed and turn to this device. And Jin says, didn't you look up how many people Michiru-chan would kill? Didn't you want to believe you were right? In other words, they're made up. And so Moe comes busting into the room. Jin turns into a cat. So Moe doesn't find out about him, and she's like, if you don't do anything, I'll have to report it to Tsuruoka-sensei. And Nana's just like, wait, hold on, anything but that. And so yeah, and then Moe says, all the old men on the committee will be mad too. I bet they won't save Inukai Michiru. Is that what you want? Because yeah, that's Nana's whole reason for continuing right now is saving Michiru, which we know is a lie because Tsuruoka killed her. And Nana just says fine, pretty much like gives in. Get a really happy Moe face. So they go after Gravity Guy. Because Moe says she found out where he lives. And Nana's like, why not be more careful? And then Moe's like, you're still saying that? And Nana says, we don't know the details of how gravity control works. When taking a talented individual, you need to imagine hypothetical situations or scenarios. Kind of just showing the difference between their tactics, I guess. Nana's very methodical in how she does it, while Moe's more run in and kill them, pretty much. So yeah, she says, taking a talented individual, you need to imagine hypothetical scenario, find their weakness, and tear down all their defenses. Only by creating a situation in which he can't use his powers will our training and readiness to kill give us an advantage. And then Moe says, Senpai, were you doing all that? And Nana's like, what? Because yeah, she's kind of like annoyed face. Because Moe just like turns around and is like, what? Were you really doing all that? So Moe says, in the first place, there's no need for you to bother with the talents of the enemies of humanity. Going through all that trouble takes time and risks exposing yourself. In other words, so yeah, Moe is more of a just run in there, kill them, pretty much. Or not really run in there and kill them, but rather than worrying about what their talent is, just in them before they can use it. Or in a situation where they aren't able to. So yeah, Nana says, we'll kill him in his sleep. And it says, Moe says, we'll use the fact he lives separate from everyone else. Any tools? And she pulls out a wire. She says, it may be too dark to see it, but we'll use this wire. I learned all kinds of ways to strangle people. And I was like, I see, I use poison, so yeah, they each have different ways of going about it. Then she says, here we go, and Nana's like, wait, strange, it's not locked, because the door is not locked, yeah. So when they enter the room, everything is floating. Or pretty much everything around the bed is floating. And so yeah, Gravity Guy's asleep, Nana's just saying, let's leave, pretty much. And so the guy wakes up because they're like, Nana says, you're not brave enough to go in there, are you? Or Moe says that, and then they turn around to leave, and the guy wakes up and says, well, who's there? But yeah, pretty good chapter. Hope y'all enjoy this. If you do, make sure to leave a like, comment down below, subscribe for more anime reaction reviews and manga reviews, and I'll see y'all later. So yeah.